Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to come by real quick to share something that, I learned this morning, or something that the Lord has been teaching me and helping me learn. So, as you can see from the title, I'm talking about growth in boldness and growth in confidence. So this really stemmed from my quiet time this morning, where the Holy Spirit spoke a sentence to me, and I'm gonna look at my notes here. He said, the sentence that I heard in my head was, the more you do, the more bold you become. What does that mean? The more you do. The more you do the things He's called you to do, or the things that He instructs you to do, the more bold you become. This boldness is really your part that you have to play when it comes to doing what God has asked you to do. And that boldness is what it takes for you to be obedient. So if you're obedient, you're doing what God has called you to do. And the more you do that, the more bold you become. So God is not gonna sprinkle obedience dust on you. No, that's something you've got to do on your own. That's the part that you have to play. So in taking that step of obedience, you are walking a step closer to boldness, because then you keep doing, you keep saying yes, you keep doing the things that He's called you to do. The more you practice that obedience, the more bold you become. What does boldness mean? I looked it up in the dictionary. I looked it up in dictionary.com, and obviously words have multiple meanings, but one of the meanings that really spoke to me, and I know that that's definitely what God was referring to in this scenario, was so boldness. The definition of boldness is refusal to be held back by the opinion or judgment of others, which is so crazy to me, because if you watched my previous video, I've been on this journey of trying to break that cycle of insecurity, or that cycle of thinking about what people are going to think of me, or what others are going to say about me, or how others are going to judge me for doing the things that God has called me to do. So I felt like it was so on brand for God to put this word in here and look up the definition, and this is what I see as one of the definitions. So I knew that this was what he was talking about. So again, boldness is the refusal to be held back by the opinion or judgment of others. And so the more you obey God, the more you do the things that He calls you to do, He instructs you to do, the more you're able to walk in boldness, the more you're able to grow in your boldness. And then what also goes hand in hand with that is your confidence. And your confidence is grown in His presence. You become more confident when you spend time in His word, when you spend time in His presence. What does confidence mean? Confidence is the belief in oneself and one's powers or abilities. Self-confidence, self-reliance, assurance. But as children of God, we know that our power or our ability is not just from us. We know where our source is. We know where that comes from. So the more you spend time in God's presence, the more you spend time in His word, the more you're able to trust Him. And when you trust Him, you have confidence. You have confidence because you know the one who you trust. You know that the one who you serve is all powerful. He is omnipotent. He is trustworthy. So that confidence is what we're able to walk in, knowing that I serve the living God. And so when I walk in confidence, I know it's because He gives me the ability to walk in confidence. He gives me the ability to do the things that He has called me to do. And because of that, I'm able to walk in confidence. When I step into rooms, I'm able to have that confidence because I know who's backing me up, right? And you're only able to grow that confidence because you spend time in His word, you spend time in His presence. When you get to know someone, and before you can trust someone, you have to have built a relationship. You have to have spent time with them, gotten to know them. And it's the same thing, right? Same thing you do for your spouse, same thing you do for your best friends. Is really the same dynamic. When you spend time with God, it's easier to trust Him because you know Him. You hear His voice. It's easier to define His voice. It's easier to have confidence in Him because you spent that time in His presence. And so, that's really what I felt like the Lord was really teaching me this morning. And it was so powerful to me because it's like, man, the more I wasn't doing what the things that He was telling me to do, I wasn't walking in boldness. I wasn't growing in my boldness. And now, even for the past couple of weeks that I've decided to not let my insecurities stop me from obeying God, I can definitely see a shift, even in my boldness and in my confidence. Because it's like, man, the more you do it, the more you're breaking free of that bondage, you're breaking free of that cycle of insecurity, and letting that, like, hold you back, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys in case someone needed that encouragement and someone needed to know that in their steps that they're taking in listening to God and in doing the things that God has called them to do, that you're really building your boldness. And then, the time that you spend in his presence, the time that you spend in his word is building your confidence in him, that you can walk in that confidence yourself. All right, I hope this has been encouraging and this has been helpful. I will catch you guys in my next video.